Now, what about the first emperor Ying Zheng? Well, we need to go back to the time when Bu-wei first met his father Ying Zheng. Bu-wei not only provided funds for Ying Zheng, but also entertained him often at his home. One night, Bu-wei had his concubines danced at their banquet. One of the concubines caught Zheng's eyes, and Zheng asked for her. It was quite common during the imperial China to give away one's concubines as a gift to a guest. So Bu-wei did not hesitate to give that concubine to Zheng. She was recorded as Zhao Ji, or a beauty from Zhao. She gave birth to a boy in 259 BC. That boy was named Ying Zheng. Some historians believe that Zhao Ji was already pregnant when she was given to Zheng. So Bu-wei was the biological father to Ying Zheng, not Zheng. Whether this was true or not, Bu-wei was the one who raised Ying Zheng. When Zheng fled Zhao in 257 BC, Zhao Ji and Ying Zheng were left behind at Zhao and stayed there for another 6 years. It was Bu-wei who provided for them and protected them with his connections at Zhao. They eventually returned to the state of Qin in 251 BC when Zheng was made the crown prince and soon became the king of Qin. When Zheng took the crown, he made Zhao Ji his queen and Ying Zheng his crown prince. In 247, Zheng died, and the 13-year-old Ying Zheng took the crown as the king of Qin. This was a dangerous time for Ying Zheng because he had a half-brother who was backed by the state of Han, a very powerful state at the time, as a rival for the crown. So he made Bu-wei his premier to assist him to consolidate his power. In order to get all the support from Bu-wei, Ying Zheng addressed him as Zhongfu, or the second father, only next to his late father, the former king Zheng. Bu-wei's power had exceeded his position as the premier. He was practically the regent, running the kingdom on Ying Zheng's behalf with his mother. So, in the early days of Ying Zheng's reign, Bu-wei and Zhao Ji collaborated closely to consolidate their power while Ying Zheng was too young to run the state. Furthermore, Bu-wei and Zhao Ji had an intimate relationship, so after Zheng died, they just resumed their affair. However, as the years went on and Ying Zheng growing up, Bu-wei became more and more worried about his affair with Ying Zheng's mother. So Bu-wei found a man named Lao-ai. He organized a fake castration procedure for Lao-ai and sent him to Zhao Ji as a eunuch. Zhao Ji and Lao-ai maintained their affair in secrecy for many years. They even had 2 sons together. I guess this must be true love. Zhao Ji granted Lao-ai political power, title, and land. Lao-ai even boasted to his followers that he was the king's stepfather. You might be able to imagine how angry and ashamed Ying Zheng must have felt when he found out about their affair. His mother not only was having an affair with a lowly eunuch, worse still, how dare this lowly eunuch to claim to be his stepfather? So, in 238, Ying Zheng finally took over the right to govern the Qin state from Bu-wei and his mother. The very first thing he did was to get rid of his half-brother Chen Jiao, as I mentioned earlier, with the help from Bu-wei and his mother. A year later, Ying Zheng had people leak the news that he knew about the affair his mother had with Wei. So the latter had no choice but to plot a coup. Ying Zheng ordered Bu-wei to lead an army to fight Wei and captured Wei. Wei, along with his relatives and followers, were brutally executed. Ying Zheng also ordered to house arrest his mother and the killing of his two half-brothers by Wei. Once all this was done, Ying Zheng sacked Bu-wei from his position of premier and sent him to exile to Luoyang, where his fiefdom was in 237 BC. However, a year later, Ying Zheng sent Bu-wei a reprimand letter asking him what had he done for the state of Qin to deserve the title and land. Once Bu-wei got the letter, he committed suicide by drinking poison because, from what happened to Wei, he knew if he stayed alive waiting for Ying Zheng to make a move, there would be much worse punishment for him, his family, and relatives. This is how Ying Zheng consolidated his power. He did not follow the more lenient approach to governance prescribed in the Li Shi Chunqiu. Instead, he adopted an approach that was an extreme version of the legalist policy articulated by one of the best-known statesmen of the Warring State period, Sangyang. Sangyang summarized all his thoughts and policy in his book, Shangjun Shu, or the Book of Lao Sang. I would certainly make a video on Sangyang and his book in the future. This is the real history of the two great men who eventually led to the unification of the Chinese world. As you can see, sometimes history is truly more dramatic than any story a playwright could imagine. It has been adapted into plays, movies, opera shows in China, Taiwan, Hong Kong many times. Have you seen any of the movies about the first emperor and Bu-wei? If you have, please let me know which movie you watched. What do you think of the first emperor and his foster father, Bu-wei? Do you think the first emperor was a psychopath? How about Bu-wei? Was he a good businessman? A good politician? What about Zhao Ji? What sort of woman do you think she was? Do you think her actions justifiable given that she was facing the impossible position to either play the politics or be murdered? I would love to hear your views on these stories.